What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today we're going to be talking about Gotham Knights. We're going to be looking at, or at least paying a little bit of attention to the biggest concerns and claims surrounding this game. So by and large, my estimation of this game is that it's a fun game. And this is not just my estimation. For some strange reason, there are so many other people, and I'm kind of surprised, finding the game a little bit more fun than they actually envisioned. Now, I think it boils down to a few things. When you take a very deep look as to some of the concerns, you're going to see that there are two major reasons that some people are probably not enjoying this game. And I'm talking about basically the people who have played it, because again, you can make the argument for video games that until you get a game's feel, you probably are not able to come up with, say, even 100% certainty as to if you like the game or not. So I think there's the experiential side of a video game that we need to account for. It probably is not too much for some of you. Some of you are quite, in tune and clairvoyant in that sense, so you can usually tell. But I think for a majority of people, it's probably something that needs to be taken a look at. Now, here's something that's actually pretty interesting. One of my audience members wrote a comment just a second ago, and this is about what they actually got to experience with a friend of theirs who said that, who thought they didn't like the game or they wouldn't like the game. So Warblade 101, shout out to you for putting this comment here. And he said, my friend who's on PS4 tried it through SharePlay and he likes the game overall. And his opinion was basically the same as mine. That's if you have some love for the characters, you will like the game. If you just like Batman and Arkham universe, you most likely won't like it. And I think this is the crux of the issue right now, because when you actually pay very close attention to a lot of the reviews, you're going to see that this game is going to get heavily and still will continue to get heavily compared to the Arkham games. Now, those of you in the Video Game Fight School community, those of you who've been watching a lot of Gotham Knights videos, I think you can understand that for the most part, most of us have divested ourselves from the notion that this game is going to be anything like Arkham. I mean, we've gone past the place of looking at trailers and looking at gameplay. We're now playing the game ourselves, and it's exactly what we expected. And the challenge, too, to try to allow for people to see all of this is giving them a lot of context and history surrounding even the Arkham games. And the truth and the reality pill is very hard to swallow. So a lot of the, ragging on that's going on right now with Warner Brothers Games Montreal is basically that one major aspect in regard to something external. Now, optimization is the other issue. The big problem with a lot of players and in the way they're engaging the game is the fact that they want to play the game at a better and optimized state. And I can definitely agree that, yes, if you want to wait to play the game, and make sure everything is optimized, then I definitely say that you wait. In fact, I made a video right before the game came out saying that if you were on console, that I didn't recommend that you should buy the game just yet. Now, the reason I probably didn't say anything about PC players is because PC players are tweakers. We will take a game and we'll do all kinds of crazy stuff to it as much as we can if we want to really play that game, and we will make it work. It's just one of those things where for some of us it's a challenge, and I didn't necessarily think I would like doing stuff like this, but apparently I've become a tweaker. So I decided I was going to play this game on my 3090 build because for some strange reason, I still have 1080p monitors with the 1080-90. Don't even ask me why. I'm cheap. Yes, that's why. And so I decided I was going to do it. I didn't want to move my desktop to my 1440p monitor station, and I was able to just bottleneck the entire, rig, and I was able to get much more stable frame rates. I did get a lot of screen tearing, though. You're not going to get the full experience. And it just shows it goes to show that that's how many PC players usually would do stuff. If they don't want to deal with this, we have the refund option on Steam and Epic Games Store after 2 hours or before you pass 2 hours of play, and you can get your money back, no problems. So I think that's actually something that's, very, in a sense, crucial when you're taking and paying notes to this entire conversation that's going on. Let's say when you're taking and paying notes, or when you're paying attention and taking notes to the entire conversation. I can't talk today. It's been such a wild weekend. Now, moving back to the side of Arkham, I think what it is even a lot of Arkham fans were not even paying a lot of attention to this game on its circuits when it was doing a lot of its reveals and so on and so forth. And so for them, it's really hard for people to be able to take the time to say, okay, what is this project? Is it possible to separate this from, say, the Arkham games? The answer to that is actually yes. You can actually separate this game from the Arkham games because, number one, it is not an Arkham game, And I think more importantly, the creators of the Arkham games have actually decided no longer to make Batman games anymore. Now, this is probably the biggest thing that no one is talking about. And I see a lot of our video games commentators across the industry, maybe they don't know about this. And I think it's a thing where many don't know, because the interview that was actually done that actually showed this particular thing is one interview that has barely gone noticed in regard to views. I think a video from 2014, that's when this video was first done, right before Batman Arkham Knight was released. Stephen Hill was telling Game Informer that they were done with the Arkham series. And I think this blow is something that a lot of people find it hard to swallow. I remember making a video and I showed the clip itself, and some people told me, you should never have shown me that clip because it's so harrowing to see that Rocksteady was abandoning their baby. And for the sake of it, I'm going to go ahead and play that small clip in this video right now so that you can see for yourself. Now, keep in mind that it might not necessarily be the news a lot of people want to hear, but here it is anyways.
So why end the trilogy? Why end Rocksteady's run with Batman with this one?
That's a good question. I mean, we've been working on it for, I guess, probably 8 years now, and it's a long time to work on it. And we kind of feel like, you know, this is the natural end for the story. It feels like this is a good place to do it. You know, we really want to kind of go out in style and do something really special, and it feels like this is the way to do it. And bringing in the Batmobile is kind of really something big and dramatic. And you know, thankfully, you know, Warner gave us the time and the investment to actually be able to include the Batmobile in the game, and so it felt like the right time.
You do realize the entire studio is decorated with Batman stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, my entire house is decorated with Batman stuff as well.
You still like Batman after all this time?
Oh yeah, definitely, massively. It's weird because I think when you work on something for 8 years, and like for my kind of job, you have to be sort of obsessed with it. Like I almost don't really think of anything else, and you think that you would get a level of franchise fatigue, but I don't know, he's such a great character that, you know, I still love him. I still get a buzz out of seeing him and playing the games, and as a character I still...
Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just pretty much, you know, cut it short here because I'm sure you can probably go find the interview yourself. It's on Game Informer's website. It was actually uploaded April 2nd, 2014. But I think the news and I think the reality is a hard one for a lot of gamers to swallow at this time, because, you know, if anyone is sitting over here thinking that they're going to be getting another Arkham game, the chances of that is actually very slim. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'm an Arkham fan. But here's the thing. I had to reconcile with the fact that the developers who created the Arkham series, well, in their own opinion anyways, or at least the factual statement that they made here, don't seem like they're interested in making another Arkham game in terms of the Batman way. Now they're working towards a Suicide Squad game, which is in the Arkham universe, but I think their sights are set on something else. So why should I, as a fan, remain loyal to a franchise that even its creators don't want to continue anymore after I've already enjoyed the franchise for so many years? It doesn't make any sense. And in this way, if I start thinking like this, or once I started thinking like this, I was able to separate all of the fact from all the hogwash and just realize that this other team at Warner Brothers Montreal is trying to do something else. Another thing a lot of people don't really know is even when they made Arkham Origins, because this is something that people will cite, they'll say, you know, but they made Arkham Origins. Many times they don't understand, nor do they know that it was actually Rocksteady's assets and Rocksteady's own resources in terms of code and all that was used to make Arkham Origins. The only thing that they had to do was they had to tell a story within which they were limited anyways on how their story could go, because they had to tell an origin story based on the story and the work that another studio had already put together. So already you're limited, and asking them to make another game in that universe, even if Warner Brothers Montreal could, they would have to stay within that universe at least for the most part. So I don't see it making any sense, especially when the team is consisting of at least a good amount of newer, staff in terms of creative direction for them to have gone that way. So I think it's time to move on. The Arkham series have been, at least right now, in terms of the Batman games, nuked by its creators, and they want to follow another direction. You're going to still see Batman, I think, in the Suicide Squad game in another form or fashion. I don't think they're going to abandon him specifically 100%, but I think they have other things that they want to pursue. So when people are competing, in their minds anyways, or at least making Gotham Knights compete with the Arkham games, I think it's an unfair categorization in a sense. sense. But it's also something that it's challenging for anyone to just overnight make that switch at the snap of a finger. But over time, you're going to see the videos that keep saying, after maybe 2 or 3 years, Gotham Knights was underrated. Everyone was too harsh with this game, and so on and so forth. By and large, it's a fun game. So once optimization is already done and many of you get your hands on the game, I think you're going to see reason with what it is that many of us here who are playing the game and having fun are saying. But in regard to the Arkham comparisons, I don't think they're really valid in this conversation at this moment anyways. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate your time and audience, and hopefully we'll see you pretty soon in another video. Peace out.